Hey guys, it's Chad Corbett from All the Leads, and this is Tips from the Trainer. This week I wanted to talk about a question that we get often from people who have just started, that are just starting to build their team. And if you're a subscriber of ours, you'll know that in our fast track training we kind of cover how to build your team. But I wanted to talk more about one specific member of that team that we recommend you surround yourself with, because it's the one that intimidates most agents. And frankly, it's the one that I don't understand why all agents don't have this in their business, and that's cash buyers. So in probate, at probably 10% of the time, you're going to have families who just need to sell quickly because they either can't settle liabilities, or they just don't have a good relationship between the family, or there's so many heirs that it's just such a small amount of money they just want it done with and behind them. So a cash buyer can be really valuable. It's also a very good way to start the conversation. So I would say that, probably 90% of my conversations with probate clients start with the discussion about the cash offer. That's what they saw in the letter and what made them respond. And oftentimes, 90% of the time, I will take it in a different direction when I realize that the cash offer is probably not in their best interest. But having over 100 cash buyers in my business gives me the confidence to know that I can, in a day, I can sell a house if it's priced right. And that confidence comes through when you're talking to your clients. So you don't have to have 100 cash buyers. I just happen to work with a lot of landlords and flippers and kind of came into this market as an investor. But I'll share with you a few ways that you can, if you don't have cash buyers, or if you want more cash buyers, I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can get that in your business really starting today. The first is, and I'll kind of go in the order of how easy it is and how far out of your comfort zone it is. So the first is go to Google, and you can put, so the first would be nationalreia.com as a website. And that's a website that kind of consolidates most of the REI. An REI is a Real Estate Investors Association. So you can go to nationalreia.com, and that will consolidate a big percentage of them. It's not an inclusive site. So you can go there and find out if there's one in your market. The other way to accomplish the same thing is just Google search Real Estate Investors Association in whatever your market is, your city or your county or your town. And when you find that group, some cities, like bigger metro areas, are going to have 2 to 3 groups. But when you find that group, you'll see that they're typically either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly meetings. Some areas charge per meeting, some have annual memberships, and you can do like a one-time trial fee to just check a meeting out. But anyways, when you find these groups, what you want to do, what I did is I started by getting to know the people who ran the group. And in my area, it's a nonprofit, so there were board, basically a board. So I got to know each of those people. But if you introduce yourself to the president and the treasurer and whoever that is really active in the group, then they will probably be your cash buyers. But they can also help you sort through the crowd, because what I find is that 90% of the room are tire kickers, thinking about investing, buy another book, buy another course, call themselves an investor a lot of times, but have never bought, may never buy anything. So you want to make sure that you're networking with the guys and girls in the room that are actively buying houses. And this is more of a long-term approach. So this is something that I'm not going to say in your first meeting you might add 12 cash buyers, and I hope so. But don't be discouraged if you don't. It's something you need to kind of build organically. But over time, you can become like the realtor that actually understands investors. And just like with anything, find value to bring to them. So don't just go to the meeting talking about what a great realtor you are. Find a way to bring value to them. Hey, who's running your comps? Hey, before you buy a house, do you have a realtor check it out and kind of check your math, make sure your numbers are right? And find a way to offer value, because MLS is one of those things it's a great value to investors, but very few, if any, have access to it. So as an agent, if you can offer access to an investor, that's a pretty big value point, and they're going to listen. And not necessarily meaning sharing your password, but being willing to run comp reports and CMAs and stuff for them. So that's two ways that you can kind of go the long-term approach. Another way, which is short-term, if you needed a cash buyer like today, the quickest way to find the most serious buyers is look in your newspaper for trustee sales. And this is a foreclosure auction. And so wherever that happens in your county, it sometimes happens daily, sometimes weekly, and some markets even monthly. But find out when your next trustee sale is and show up. And again, have something of value. But what you're going to find there are, there's going to be a few people who, attorneys and some tire kickers, but for the most part, you're going to see a bunch of ladies and gentlemen with checks in their pocket, and they've brought 10% down cashier's checks, and they typically will have 10 to 30 days to bring the other 90% to the table. So you've got very ready, willing, and able buyers who are actively looking for a deal right now in this second. So if you can get to know those folks, find out what they're looking to buy. Are they flipping? Are they long-term buy and hold? Or they're looking for something for themselves? And just help them understand, hey, I'm a probate expert. We see a lot of different situations, and lately I've discovered the need for someone who can pay cash and close really quickly. Do you mind if I put deals in front of you? Okay, great. What's your email? And get them on the list. And just like with the REI members, find ways to give them value too. So, well, tell me, how do you find your best deals? How many houses did you buy last year? How many are you going to buy this year? Ask good questions, as I always say. So start that conversation. And again, this is organically building it. It's just a much quicker way to get to a really serious buyer. So that's the second way. The third way are absolute auctions, and these are typically held by commercial real estate firms or auction companies in most markets. In my market here, the commercial realtors pretty much run the auction market. Absolute auctions, a lot of times will, if you find those commercial real estate websites, they'll publish there. A lot of times they will send, like every time one happens here, I get a piece of mail. So because of the name of my LLC, they mail me and say, hey, there's an absolute auction coming up. But you can just probably Google search absolute auction your city, and you'll see those things come up. And it's different circumstances. Sometimes it's an estate, sometimes it's a bankruptcy. You never know. Sometimes it's just a business liquidation, a retirement sale. You never know. But what you do know is that there are people there with money today and a will to spend that money. So it's a great place to meet really serious people who have cash that could be valuable in your business. And again, just find a way to be valuable to them when you get there. And that could be through, giving them access to MLS reporting through you, sending them a foreclosure list, everything that's currently on the market. Do a short sale list. So you search, if your MLS doesn't designate short sales, you can always look in the private remarks and kind of extract those out. Something unique that most agents can't provide for their investors because they don't use MLS correctly. But little tricks like that will really help you have something to offer them to start the conversation. So guys, this is just 3 ideas. So you've got the REI meetings, you have trustee sales, and you have absolute auctions. There's obviously more than 3 ways to meet cash buyers. These are the 3 ways that I got over 100 cash buyers on my list within 12 months of moving here from 7,000 miles away, and I knew nobody in town. I have sold everything from $5,000 houses to a $2.5 million portfolio of houses to the people on that list. Pretty much everything in between. I've sold my short sales, I've sold Fannie foreclosures, HUD foreclosures, probate houses. I've sold a little bit of everything. And one other thing to mention is when you have those people on your list, the market now, most of our markets are really good right now. We're in an up market. Maybe even a seller's market. It's not quite as great here as it is in a lot of metro areas, but the inevitable will happen. The market will turn, and when that happens, these are the people, these are the clients in your database that will save your business. So when the sky is falling, I mean, think about the top REO agent and the top short sale agent in your market just 5 years ago. And those people who were just killing it during, when everybody else was starving to death, let's say 7 years ago. Those people saw the value in working with cash buyers, or they accidentally fell into that and realized, holy crap, this is the only way I can stay alive. But when that happens again, if you have a good relationship with real estate investors as an agent or a broker, then when that market does turn, it's just a matter of you shifting your 80-20. So you spend 80% of your time working with distressed assets and 20% on conventional probably, where it's kind of the other way around right now. So you don't need cash buyers every day right now, but when you do, it's nice to have them there. But when the market shifts, you'll need them, and they will be ready to buy, because they typically aren't buying in environments they're not buying as much in environments like this. But when you see a market correction like we saw in '08, and Buffett says, buy when there's blood in the streets, people listen and people buy. So anyways, hopefully this was helpful. I know this is longer than most, but I wanted to be thorough. If you get value from these, please take a second and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are not a subscriber of All the Leads, you can find us at alltheleads.com and check out what we do there. We offer probate leads, among other things, and we've got a lot of exciting new offerings coming up in the next year. So again, my name's Chad Corbett. This was Tips from the Trainer. If you have any questions on this, you want me to elaborate on anything, you can always reach me by emailing support@alltheleads.com. Thanks so much and have a great day.